Today, we're going to talk about Interactive Brokers, what it offers, what you can do with this platform, and a few other things. I've been using this platform for several months now. As you know, I've already uploaded videos about Interactive Brokers, including how to deposit and how to withdraw. In fact, I think we're going to make a second version of those videos because some people still have questions. But basically, today is about giving you my review after using it for several months, the things I've done, what I think about the platform itself, and so on. So basically, let's go to the website, and this is to answer a common question: what is Interactive Brokers? Basically, it's a broker that lets you invest in the stock market. But usually when you talk about this, you think you can only invest in the US stock market and that's it. But it's not just there. You can actually invest in some other places too. In fact, right here it says, discover a world of opportunities. So it says, with the Interactive Brokers Universal Account, clients can trade stocks, options, futures, currencies, bonds, and funds. So it's not just for investing in the stock market through stocks and ETFs, which is the traditional way, but we can also invest in all these other options, and on top of that, in up to 34 countries and 27 currencies. This is one of the reasons why I personally chose this platform. Y'all know that I've talked about a lot of platforms, I've mentioned many other places to invest, but a lot of people also ask me why I choose this one over the others. And even though I'm not doing it right now, the possibility of having 27 currencies in 34 countries and 150 available markets, so that whenever I see an investment opportunity, not just in the United States, but anywhere else in the world, that's something I really love. Why? Because let's say, for me, a broker is something you use to invest. Great, perfect. But when it comes to switching for various reasons, it gets a bit complicated. First, there's the tax issue, because you know that when you file your tax return, at least in Colombia or in other places where you pay taxes, making a withdrawal or selling a stock is when your gain actually becomes real, and that's when you have to start declaring that money you're investing. So that's one of the reasons. Another thing is, to move all your money, if you're on a platform and you need to withdraw your money from there, they're very likely going to charge you a fee. After that, if the money goes to your bank might charge you another fee, and then you have to transfer it again to another broker if you're making that switch. And that's why, after a lot of analysis and looking at different platforms, I ended up choosing this one because in the future, I already have everything I need. I mean, I don't need to keep saying, well, I'm going to switch to this other platform, now I want to pick this one, now I want to pick that one. No, here I already have everything I need all in one place. And that's what I'm inviting you to do today. If you just want to invest in stocks, you can check out this platform. You can look at its pricing, like it says here, which basically means the commissions it charges in the long run, and decide if it's right for you or not, because every platform is different for everyone. Then there's also the fact that Interactive Brokers is very advanced when it comes to the multiple platforms it offers, especially for trading, which is something a lot of professionals use. In my case, I don't use them because I'm a long-term investor. What I like to do is deposit into different assets, invest in various assets for the long run, and let their value grow over time. I use different strategies, invest periodically, and just leave the money there. But things like trading, intraday moves, scalping, and that sort of thing just don't interest me. But again, it's an option that if I ever became interested, I could do it, and I like knowing that I have these options available. The same thing applies to other platforms. For example, there are platforms that are really basic and don't have many features. At first, for people who aren't interested in anything beyond that and think they'll never want to do more, maybe that's the best option for you. But in my case, I know that in the future, I'm gonna start doing something with this, and I'll most likely share it on my YouTube channels. Another reason is that this broker is actually listed on the NASDAQ, meaning it's directly traded on the stock exchange, so its financial statements are public. You can check how the broker's doing, whether it's doing well or not. On top of that, it's a broker that's been around for a really long time and is fully regulated in different parts of the world. So that also gives me a lot of confidence to deposit money here and invest for the long term, at least in my case. It also offers several options, like individual accounts, joint accounts, retirement accounts, trust accounts, family accounts, and institutional accounts. Each has its own unique terms. There are some accounts that can only be opened, for example, in the United States, which is where this broker is based, but there are other accounts that we can open from anywhere in the world, like individual accounts, which is the one I personally have. We'll get to that section in a moment and see what it's all about. To open your account, I have a tutorial available here. Search Mas Finanzas, how to open an account on Interactive Brokers, for the step-by-step guide. Or check out Finanzas Plus, my main channel. Then, here we have a few topics, but if we scroll down further, we'll see what I was telling you about. And it's this. It's the registration, which means it's fully regulated. It's based, let's say, in the United States, but it also has regulation in the United Kingdom. So that's something that, again, gives people a certain level of trust and can even determine whether someone decides to invest in a particular site or not. As shown, Interactive Brokers UK is authorized and regulated by the Securities Market Authority. This is the reference number. You can verify it directly on the website of this regulatory entity. Then there's Interactive Brokers LLC, which is regulated by the SEC and the CFTC in the United States, and again, you can always verify that yourself. Now, let's take a look here and analyze the individual account a bit, which is the account I personally opened, the one I liked, and the one I needed because, well, I don't need to open a joint account with a partner or anything. This is something that's entirely my own. So, Interactive Brokers' Stock Yield Enhancement Program allows you to earn additional income on the fully paid shares you have in your account. Invest in stocks, options, futures, currencies, bonds, funds, and more than 150 markets across 34 countries from a single unified platform. And this is also something really interesting. There are some platforms I've tried that have everything. In fact, there was one that noticed this mistake and changed it. I forget the name, but I remember registering on that platform once. It was segmented, so each task had its own page, but it was all part of the same conglomerate. Recently, they updated it and unified it all into a single platform. It's the same with Interactive Brokers, meaning now everything is within the same platform. You don't have to go somewhere else to look for something you already have here. What fractional shares let you do is, for example, if you want to invest in a stock that costs $2,000, you don't have to buy the whole share if you don't have the $2,000. Instead, you can buy 0.5, meaning a fraction of the share, which would be half, so it would cost you $1,000, and so on. You can make purchases in different fractional shares if you don't have enough to buy a whole share. Some people will like this and others won't. Next, powerful trading technology and advanced trading tools help you create and execute your trading strategies easily from any desktop or mobile device. And here's another important thing. In this case, Interactive Brokers has two very strong and advanced platforms, and I really love the options they offer. First, there's the desktop option, which we'll look at in a moment, and the second option is that they also have a mobile app. And it's not just a typical mobile app like many brokers have, where you just log in and only have like 3 options. I mean, usually the mobile app and the website are completely different, but that's not the case here. In this case, sometimes I actually find things more easily in the mobile app than on the web platform itself, which also has a lot of options. Next is professional pricing to maximize returns. These are the trading commissions Interactive Brokers offers. We have a dedicated video explaining this in detail. Search for Interactive Brokers Commissions Más Finanzas, or check the link here. In that video, we analyze tiered versus fixed commissions to help you choose. Ultimately, I chose the fixed commission option and stuck with it. These commissions are charged depending on your investment type: stocks, ETFs, options, futures, spot currencies, bonds, or mutual funds. This depends either on your investment amount via a tiered structure or a fixed commission. So in the end, I ended up liking the fixed commission option more. Although, well, the tiered commission structure is also pretty good. I recommend that you go and check out the video I mentioned. Next, we have the commissions, which depend on where we invest, as we discussed earlier. We had the option to invest in different countries. For example, in the United States, we have Canada, Mexico, and then we can keep scrolling down depending on the type of product we want to invest in. So for options, there's also Canada and Mexico, and then over here we have cryptocurrencies. So we also have different types of commissions here. Personally, I don't invest in crypto and Interactive Brokers. Right now, I only invest in ETFs and in the future in stocks. At the moment, no, I'm not investing in anything else. Then, aside from, well, talking about the platform itself for buying, they have different options that are pretty good. First, there's this global analysis from Interactive Brokers, which really isn't about giving you an analysis that tells you invest in this, but rather they provide you with tools so you can filter things yourself based on what you want to see. So here it shows you the revenue change over a certain period, the dividend, what dividend it is paid, how long ago it was paid, and the current market cap. Thanks to that, you can find different investment opportunities because not everyone likes the same things. So you can come here and filter, and this is something that not all platforms offer you. In fact, it's something you can use even without investing with them. I mean, you could invest with another broker and still come here and use this perfectly. And as it says here, find your needle in the haystack. And with so many markets, so many countries, it can get a bit complicated because, for example, if we come over here and go, say, to India, we'll see that, look, we have this here, this company. So we can come and study it and look at it based on the items we select here. We can decide what we want to see: price to book, price to sales, and all that kind of stuff. Let's go back over here. We also have other things that help us analyze, for example, bonds, the bond marketplace. So we can invest directly in US Treasury bonds, and this is something pretty simple, really straightforward on the platform, whereas in some countries and places, it's a nightmare to access bonds. Then there's also a mutual funds marketplace, availability of short selling stocks, so we can also make this type of investment, and after hours trading. And, well, I could go on and on here because honestly, there are so many things we could talk about, but this video would end up lasting several hours, maybe even days with everything that's here. But the idea of this video is more like an introduction to why I invest here, and a general overview of the options it offers. In fact, let's log into the platform for a moment and take a look at what it's like inside, directly on the website. So here I have a security verification. I just tap authorize on my phone, it asks me for my password, and then I can access my platform. So we wait for it to load. Inside the platform, the interface lets you deposit, withdraw funds, view your balance and its history over recent days and months. Here in the performance section, you can also see the returns you've had in recent months, and basically from there, all the tools start to become available. Look, over here we have the research section, which is what helps us, along with the tools we saw earlier, like the mutual fund scanner, the bond scanner. And this is something that really helps when you want to invest. So right here, you can filter by whatever you want. And basically, it's like, how can I put it? Like an investment information encyclopedia. So you come here and select what you want, click on see results, and the bonds will show up, in this case, according to the characteristics you chose. And obviously, if you pick one, you'll be able to invest in it, already knowing the features you previously selected. And again, there's general research, a market screener here as well, so you can constantly keep track of stocks or ETFs you're interested in, like right here, for example. You can also check out Asian stocks and European stocks here, and you can go straight here to buy or sell or set up an alert for when the price of a stock reaches a certain amount. But anyway, these are more in-depth strategies that each of you should follow on your own. And well, that's basically where this video ends. Further down, we also have some news, and please let me know what you'd like us to talk about in future videos about interactive brokers, what you want us to go deeper into, or about what things you have questions on. Because the idea is that if you want me to talk about something, like for example here in research and any of these options, or if you've read something somewhere about interactive brokers or about a particular stock or ETF, just let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to make a specific video about it. If you ask me to talk about trading in the Crypto Plus section, I'll make a super detailed video on it, because reviewing the whole platform in one video is pretty complicated. This way, we can make lots of videos, so you can keep learning more each time. Anyway, that being said, see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.